hopefully, when you're watching this video, it will be the 1-year anniversary to when I first started doing the dive into, or a dive recap, I forget what I called it, into the Vampire Academy series. However, it was just book 1, and I said multiple times, and in other videos, and in other recaps, and all this kind of stuff, I still plan all the time, to continue this series. I still plan to. And here we are with this video. So, the reason why I want this to be a year anniversary type of a thing is because I really hope to get this dive done in one video. So, this book was published in 2008. At least the copy that I got says it was published in 2008. The word count is 327 pages for the copy in the edition that I have. And let's get into chapter 1. So, we have our main character, Rose. This is like winter time, right? This book takes place in a matter of like 2 weeks, I think. So she is going to go take her qualifier, which is basically, this is out of school. This is out of school if you didn't know. So she's about to take her qualifier exam, which basically is something that she should have took last year, but you know, she was off with Lisa. And she doesn't admit that she was compelled in this book. Interesting, but here we are. She's gonna go, and like, she is gonna be with Dimitri, and they're gonna go over, do her qualifier with this guy named Andrew. And this Andrew, not Andrew, I keep on wanting to call him Andrew. This Arthur guy. I remember reading this and going, who is he? I had no idea. I'm like, who is this guy? I don't know who he is. Because I'm like, I have pretty good recall for the first 4 books. I have pretty good recall. Because those are the 4 books that I read, right? So I'm like, okay, whatever, I don't know everything, and she's like, building him up, being like, he's equals to Dimitri, and like, I also kind of don't like how she like idealizes, but you know, she's 17 at this point, so that makes sense. Now, this guy, I thought, is a guardian to the Bodegas. Bodegas. This is a royal family. So, they're at the house. They drove out the house, they're going to take the qualifying exam. What? Rose goes outside and she goes, do they not put out salt? Why salt? Because it snowed. I do not say that, bro. It's snowing. No, it's not snowing. Snow on the ground. No ice, no nothing. And she's over here like, she's supposed to be like physically trained, peak of athletics, but you know, she does complain that, you know, there's no salt on the ground. Like, did they not think about it? No, they didn't. So unfortunately what happens is, turns out Shigoi came and reduced the population size of the family and the guardians that were there. Now, Rose, she finds like a little stake in the ground. I know this isn't Silver Hush. A stake in the ground. And she's like, this is a silver stake. Why is it in the ground? And she goes up and they're like, wait, Shigoi can't touch stakes. But the stake broke the wards that's around that, like, the home. Basically how it's described is like the wards that's around the home is like a special kind of like magic, right? And the magic that's in the stakes is like all 4, not the 5th one. Hush! They pretend the 5th one doesn't exist. So it's basically, it's kind of like a negative and a negative and a positive, I guess, or a positive, like, it's just like Shuri's soul pits. But Shigoi can't touch it. And so they're like, wait, that means humans are involved. Humans can go outside during the day. And humans can now break the wards. And we wouldn't. They're in danger during the day now? No, silly. No. But that's like the implication. So she's like, wow, this is like, she's in shock. She's like, I didn't know that someone who's so good can just like be taken out so fast, so easily. Now, chapter 2, here we are. Yes, I totally go by pretty quickly. Pages 23 to 35. This is the only real thing that I'm going to talk about in this chapter, because everything else, like, is the same thing. Like, now those other guardians, they are trying to investigate what's happening, all this kind of stuff. And the only part relevant thing, besides, Rose is having anger issues, but the only part relevant thing is on page 26. There is a message written on a mirror from Shigoi human. We don't know, but it is from the people who did this. Quote, Poi Budikas. So few left. One family nearly gone. Others to follow. Weirdo? Weirdo? What are you... Poi Budikas. So few left. Well, you didn't have to reduce the family. You didn't have to do that. Like, that was a choice. So, like, you can, like, weirdos? Not calling the Buddha weird. Like, people who wrote this. One family nearly gone. Why are we bringing up the Dragomils? Weirdo. Others to follow. Okay, thank you. Thank you for actually giving the actual message you wanted to. So, everyone now knows about what they call a break-in. At the well, Chapter 3. So, basically, people found out about the family reduction size, let's say that, and basically, the school is just like, okay, well, we don't necessarily want to send the kids out when, like, it was so close, and, like, there's, again, not enough guardians for everyone, and, like, sure, the royal families might have guardians, but, like, whatever, like, so they're worried, they're trying to figure it out. The families that are like, we don't want our children to be in danger, you have, like, basically not protected, like, you have Mr. Goy on campus. And Victor, kidnapped. 2. No, 1, I forgot that, that Christian was not kidnapped, he was just injured, which doesn't make it better. So, basically, here's what it is. They're going to rent out a royal ski lodge in Idaho. Remember, they're in Montana. So, if you like, why Idaho? Because they're in Montana. Don't worry, we're going to do a lot of traveling in this book. So, everyone's pretty psyched about that, especially the non-royals, because they're like, oh, we get to go to the ski lodge. So, crush with Mason, question mark. Here is the fun thing. I'm gonna call her mom. She's not my mom. Her name's Janine. But mom shows up to teach. Remember how Rose has mommy issues because her mom gave her to the academy, and then went and became a deputy, the thing that she wants to do, and she would probably do at this point in the book, or this stage in her life, is she would do exactly what her mom did. Her mom's a big player in this book, and oh my gosh, neither of them have any emotional maturity. So let's do this. That's chapter 3. Chapter 4, we have Mom v. Daughter Battle Royale. Whoa! Right? Place who you think will win. This is not a bet. Who do you think will win? Who do you think will win? What? And the winner wins. Okay, so here was the fight. So, basically, they're like, the mom's like, where was your duty? Like, you shouldn't have left. Rose, you don't know why we left, and we had no proof. Mom, fine. Pivots, right, into, you are behind in your education. Rose, I'm actually caught up. Mom then comes in and wins the battle by saying, and if you were here, you would have been you would have surpassed them. You would have caught up. Right? So, keep in mind, she says, you're behind, actually I'm caught up. And you know what? You would have been ahead of them if you wouldn't have left. And, you know, the mom gives the impression to me that even if she said, look, she was in danger, I did it to protect her, I think she would have been like, but you were in danger, you could have learned. Like, she's like, and honestly, Mom won that one. Mama won that one, Daughter did not. Okay, so Dimitri finds Rose after that, and Dimitri is just like, I think you're jealous of your mom. Whoa, he's right, unfortunately. Let's go to chapter 5. So, Dimitri takes Rose to meet Tasha Ozera. Tasha is with Christian and Lisa. They're, like, at this cabin, and they're, like, skiing on the lake. Tasha, remember, is the aunt that defended, or, like, made it so that way Christian's parents couldn't get to him and awaken him. Like, so she has injuries from that fight still, so some people don't like looking at her scars from that. She now teaches martial arts because she's like, well, if that happens again, basically she wants to be prepared. She's like, I didn't know anything, and I barely got me and him out of that. Like, if it was not for the Guardians that immediately came, we would not have, right? So she teaches martial arts now. That's the end of the chapter. Chapter 6, pages 77 to 85. Mom and Daughter, yet again, they fight. Now, Rose goes to train, and she thinks she's going to train with Dimitri. Now, Dimitri is out for the day because Tasha wanted to go get something, I believe, and Dimitri said that he would be, like, her, like, temporary guardian, because she doesn't have any, because guardians are in such short number, and no one wants to give an Ozera a guardian, because she's an Ozera. Remember, family decided to awaken. Just 2 of them, but that didn't matter, right? So, here we are. She thinks she's going to go train with Dimitri. Mom enters a chat. Now, they start to spar. Rose accuses, this is very important, Rose accuses her mother of only getting with her dad, who's Turkish, for racist reasons. So, her mom punches her in the eye and gives her back black eye. Right. She gets told to the infirmary. I think she basically has to sit out for the rest of the day. Her mom gave her a black eye, and you know what? Kind of deserved. She accused her mom of only being with her dad because she was racist. So, let's go to chapter 7, because I'm like, why are we going so fast when I read? Because the book is so fast. The book is so fast, it's like a chapter. You know, so you're like, oh, but I want more of that. What do you, like, there's no resolution for her accusing her mom of being racist. And I'm like, well, why are you saying her mom's racist? Well, one, because I know more in it. I'm not saying she's not. What I am saying is, the accusation is, she only got in a relationship with him, and she didn't even know if it was serious, what it was. Like, she knows nothing about her dad. So, yeah, it's an accusation. It is an accusation of why she got with him. But I want to move on because it's fast-paced, right? So chapter 7, Mia makes fun of Rose. And listen, Mia doesn't know why her mom did it. And Rose kind of knows that was on purpose. I stand on the hill. I think her mom hopelessly did it. Now, her mom apologizes and says, oh, I didn't mean to do it. But I think in that moment, hearing her daughter levy that accusation against her, I do think she purposely hit her. And above the belt, not in a good area to do it, that you shouldn't have done it. I do think so. I'm not going to blame her, though. Also, because again, I know the relationship, so... And I'm not going to say any more on that, because I guess it's so spoiler that I will be like, I can't say much if you want more on this. I can't, because we talk about it in later books. So I'm like, I can't say what I know, because I know more than what Rose does in the situation. Anyways, Mia makes fun of her, rightfully so. Lisa is like, comforting her, but then she's like, okay, but actually, you didn't say that you said that to your mom. Like, that's a very important thing that you should have said. So, even the author, I think, in Lisa, is saying this in Lisa's point of view, is being like, yeah, her mom did do it. However, her playing victim, that she got, got in the eye. But Lisa's like, okay, but you did say that, and that was a very horrible thing to say. Saying spirit magic, a way that she can do it without going off of it. It's very important that she really wants to do it. She wants to learn, but she refuses to put her mental health at risk for it. I think that's very beautiful. She goes off to have a date night with Christian, and unfortunately Rose gets brought into her mind and she can't leave her mind for a while, and they start to do activities, 18 plus activities, and she's like, girl, I gotta go. But like Lisa is unknowingly holding her to it, and she's like, really? Right? And no, he, and no joking, and Rose is kind of like, she, in the next chapter, chapter 8, manages to leave Lisa's mind. Rose also falls with both Mason and Dimitri. Dimitri wants Rose to forgive her mom. And everyone's so dismissive of their emotions. Rose is dismissive of her emotions and not wanting to actually look at them and just avoid them. So Rose is more avoidant. And then everyone else is avoidant with how Rose feels. Rose is valid for feeling abandoned because her mom abandoned her. That she is not invalid or wrong to feel that her mom abandoned her, because that is explicitly what the text says she did. Her mom left her at a school and continued her life. And this says the last time that she actually was able to talk in person with her mother was 5 years ago. So she is very valid for feeling abandoned by her mother. She gave an email in the other book being like, I'm very disappointed in you. But like, and you might argue she was on the run for multiple years. That's still 2 years that she didn't talk to, like, she was like, also she was in a very traumatic incident. You would think that she would have, I don't know, been there at her daughter's bedside doing it, but we see no evidence of her doing that. We know she was on death's doorstep. Where was her mom? So I'm not going to get mad at Rose or being like, Rose, get over it. And I think that it's very horrible for the adults in her life to go, you should get over it. Like, you just want to be her. And it's like, well, maybe also she wants a mother that actually was beside her when she was recovering from death, almost claiming her. So you can tell my reaction on that. Unfortunately, I'm getting a little bit upset also because of the kiss, and I'm screaming for mom. At this point, you need to know that anytime her mom is mentioned or anything like that, and I say mom, I'm not referring to my mom. I'm referring to her. I'm like, beat him up. Like, get him off of her. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen here. Chapter 9, pages 114 to 126. It's Christmas. Woo! Tasha is throwing a party. Everyone is there, including mom, Dimitri. Actually shows up, and we learn, thanks to mom, saying, well, they're going to probably have an agreement. He wants kids, and she can provide him kids. And basically, she can also protect her, so she gets protection, and her child would then also get protection as well. And then he gets to raise his child. Even if they don't love each other and want to be together and marry each other, basically what this author is saying that they are potentially looking at is he gets to be a father, not just genetically, but actually be a father. She gets to make sure that her child is protected. Who better to protect her child than the most trained, well-decorated at this point in the story that we know about, guardian, who is also the child's father. It's a no-brainer. Everyone has big emotions. Rose gets very upset with this, because she has a crush on Dimitri. And the mom gets very upset because she doesn't realize they're very bad at recognizing emotions and dealing with them. I don't know necessarily if it's just avoidant, detachment, emotional constipation. I don't really know what it is. I'm not a therapist. But neither mom nor daughter can actually express emotions. So she is feeling negative emotions and wants to be alone. The mom doesn't realize that she is not being pushed out because her daughter doesn't want to talk to her. Her daughter wants her to talk to her, just not at this moment, because she has a crush on a guy. And the mom doesn't realize that there was an inappropriate relationship happening, which I very much believe that if she knew, he would not be an employee. Or she would not be going to that school anymore. One of the two. One of the two. Maybe both. But also I want to say the mom gives her a gift, and it looks like an eye, she says. Now it's a token type of a thing that she says. It's like a pendant, right, that she now gets to wear. She does wear it. And she doesn't know what it is. She says it kind of looks like an eye. And she has no idea. She has no fact. She doesn't know. And she doesn't know how her mom got it, if it's significant or anything like that. She kind of just like, oh, okay. And then her mom brings it up. The mom stalks off. So we don't know the importance yet of the gift. So chapter 10, this is the next day. Everyone goes to the lodge. Mason and Rose, Christian and Lisa are double dating. We meet the one, the only Adrian Ivashkov. He is 21, Lisa is 17. I'm going to defend him. He never asks her age, unfortunately. And I do think that if he would have known, he wouldn't have flirted with her. I really wish he wouldn't have. He is always perpetually drunk. I wish he didn't. But I can't get into why I think any of these thoughts until later on in the book, but you need to keep in mind. I am not going to go as hard and aggressive at Adrian in this, because he doesn't know her age. He knows she's from the academy, but he also knows she's a senior. So 18, 21, I think that was the assumption. He should ask ages. Oh my gosh. And they only have in the book a total of like 6 or 7 interactions the entire time, and we know of them. So ages never matter. Oh my gosh, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't like this couple. I don't like it. I don't ship it. I think he might be a little bit weird. I'm just saying it. I'm like, we defended him a little bit. I did defend him a little bit. The characterization that I know of him that I can't say because it's in later books. So I also want to be very explicit why I'm not going as aggressive as I am with Dimitri, because he knows her age. And he knows she's a child. And he still kisses her multiple times. He wants to know about Lisa and Victor. I will say about this entire book, the majority of it is only ever slight floating that they both are engaging in, but he mostly wants to know about Lisa. Chapter 11. We have magic lessons, Woo, where Christian is learning how to do fire magic in defense. Rumors about her and Adrian, Rose and Adrian, come forth because Mia sees them together, and like Mia loves to spread rumors. If Mia is here, you know she's spreading rumors. You know she likes to teach, she likes to gossip. She always wants to know whatever is happening. I can't be mad at her so far right now, because I could be mad at her in the last book. I could be mad at her in the last book because that was horrendous. In this book, really, we don't know what the rumors were, and it's not wrong to say that they were together, but I do think that the rumors were lies, that she did say at the very least. Moving on, Adrian and Rose had a second interaction, but this time it's in Dreamland. So she's like, I don't think that it counts. And if you're like, well, at this point, dreams should not count as encounters, I'm going to count them as encounters. So keep that in mind. Adrian is saying, like, you have shadows surrounding you. Like, usually that doesn't happen with people. What's up? And she's like, oh, I'm shadow kissed. And he's like, I don't know what that means. And how I kind of what I'm getting from it is he's just like, you're kind of real. Which is so funny, because she would say he's really real. He's also potentially not so well. Later on, there is, I won't say that, spoilers. Wake up. That's what she does, because there's been another attack. Now, chapter 12. We learn that the Strigoi are organized, so probably, did I say this, y'all? I don't know how to say it anyways. So, we learned that the Shigores are organized and they're with humans. What? That's unheard of, apparently. Second attack, this one, they think, hey. I think it happened during the day, I'm unsure, that's why I keep on looking at my notes. Okay, yeah, okay, so, there is a thing where they think that they're in, no, that's not said here, never mind, I kept on trying to see if it was said here. So, in this, there's two ideas the Maori have of, like, protecting themselves. One, children and women fight. Second one is they basically all group up. Think, kind of, like, I forget what they're called. I don't know, like, community houses, and basically have everyone come together so that way we're always watching each other and we are always protecting each other. Tasha says, dog, what if us Maori learn how to use our magic and fight side by side? And they're like, has she awakened? Has she awakened? She wants us to die. And Tasha's like, no, I didn't. Obviously I didn't, but like, do you really want to be helpless? Some people start to think, maybe this is like the right thing to do. Chapter 13, pages 171 to 182, Adrian, okay, so basically, okay, so Dimitri and Rose, they leave it, and Dimitri's kind of like floating with her, and Adrian interrupts it, as he should. Honestly, there's multiple times where I was like, Adrian, hi, you're here, thank you, because he's not really trying to do anything. He gets all of the group together. And all, like, so basically the group is, when I say the group, keep in mind, Mia is going to be a part of this, I forgot to say it. Mia's mother died in the attacks, because they attacked the, I'm sorry, I'm not good at Russian, Drozdov. And Mia's mother, if you recall from the previous book, and in this book now, worked for them. So, yeah, so Mia is super, obviously, distraught and emotionally upset, and so the group, Mia, Christian, Lisa, Mason, and then Rose, when she told this, are all like, yeah, we don't want to, like, leave, like, she was mean, and she did say, like, a horrible one in the first book, and she is kind of, like, a mean person, but, like, her mom just died, we gotta keep her with us, like, it would be horrible of us to ignore her, and just, like, let her not be able to be around someone, right? So when I say the group, she's a part of the group. They go swimming. Now, Adrian basically leaves them immediately. He takes them to where everyone's swimming, and then he dips. And then he dips. So he literally invited them to go to the fancy swimming pools and all that. And he goes, no, we don't know where he is in this. He's just gone. Now, Rose gets drunk and stumbles into a fight. I'm not joking. This is after Mason says he wants to fight. And Rose is kind of like, delulu alert. Chapter 14. Rose tries to break up the fight, but it doesn't work. So the group then has to come and break it up. Now, she thinks fighting the Shigores as novices is complete delulu. And she's also drunk, so she's not being nice with her words. Adrian basically finds her in a feeding room, because she doesn't know where she's going, and she just kind of stumbles in there. And he's like, hey! You're drunk. Oh, you're drunk. You're, like, actually kind of bad drunk. You want to sit down? So he's comforting her. He's trying to, like, make sure she's good here. Definitely not trying to, like, take advantage of her. He's literally just like, no, he does try to get information from her. He really wants to know about Lisa. Right? And she's kind of like, why are you asking me that? Yeah, so basically the group then finds her, like, specifically Lisa finds her, and they're like, what are you doing in here with him? And basically he's like, I don't know, I just found her in here. She's drunk, bad drunk. And they're like, dang, Rose, you're bad, like, bad drunk. Like, you can't keep anything, like, it is, oh dang. So, basically, here's the thing, Mia confronts Rose. I don't know if Mia is also drunk, but, like, Rose is. It's basically, like, he was stringing him along. And it's kind of revealed Mia has a crush on Mason. And I'm like, dang, everyone has a crush on Mason in this book. Everyone has a crush on Mason in this book. I don't see it. But you know what? I shouldn't. He's 17. Actually, I don't know if he's 18 yet. But I shouldn't. Oh my gosh. Granted, when I was reading it, I was in middle school, but still. I'm like beating my hand. So, here we are, chapter 15. Adrian sends perfume as gifts. She keeps one since the rest back. She goes to Adrian's room. Why is Lisa in there? It's not said yet. It's not said yet. Dimitri's behind them being like, yeah, I wonder what you guys are doing here. Adrian is just like, I mean, why are you so focused on where these two girls are? I mean, like, Lisa, sure. Basically calls him out for being too, like, and that's what my defense of Adrian is I don't think that he in a drunk mind, because if it's not night, he's not sober. He's never sober. especially in these early books, he's never sober. So I can definitely see him thinking that, like, no adult from the academy that is vetted is going to, like, go after someone who is under the age. So maybe he also saw that. I don't know. We don't get his mind until the later books, and I can't remember what he has to say about Rose. And I can't even say it, y'all, because it's when I'm talking about that. Anyways, Lisa is told to go to her room. Dimitri tries to take her to her room, but then it's super frustrating because basically, here's what happens, is he both says that she's both young for her age, but also apologizes for saying, like, I'm sorry for calling you young and immature, like, roommate. He does it throughout this entire book. And the confrontation, I will say that, like, the call-out is specifically about Dimitri being around young girls. This is when we learn that they think that the sugar, this is what I'm trying to say earlier, but I was like, I don't think it's in the chapter, are in Spokane, Washington. So we're literally going, wait, no, what we literally have done is we've gone Oregon, Montana, Idaho, and now they're saying Washington. The Empire was in the Pacific Northwest, now you might like Cheyenne, Idaho, and Montana are talking about Anyways, Mason wants to go to Spokane, and Rose is the bad temple. That's chapter 15. Let's go to chapter 16. Christian is angry at Lisa because he found out that she was in Adrian's room. We still don't know why she was in his room that day. Lisa and Rose go to a banquet. Now, in this banquet, Lisa basically shows that she's, like, politically savvy. People listen to her. She has good ideas about fighting and being like, well, if you don't want to fight, you don't have to. But if you want to fight, you can actually join classes like everyone else with the instructors who know how to teach you how to fight. I know, another idea. Sure. And they're like, oh my gosh, what? Anyways, Adrian and Rose talk at this point. Adrian says that they have spoken only 5 times, and we now know all 5 of the conversations and the explicit conversations that they were having, which did not mention how old she was. You should have asked her. You should have asked her age. She's like, wait, 5. The dream doesn't count, does it? Mom comes in, she's mad. She's big mad. She tells her to get out. We're going to jump straight into chapter 17. Mom slut shames Rose. She's like, that you cannot be seen with them. You don't know what their intentions are. You cannot throw away your life. Is basically what she's saying. For them. Like, you cannot do that. She doesn't care that Lisa was ill. She was like, I don't care. And this is when we see exactly that the mom's reasoning and what she is doing in this book is explicitly what can she do to make sure her daughter is the best equipped for life. So, with what we were given, we can infer that the reason why the mom dropped off as soon as she could isn't necessarily to say, well, I can't raise her because I want to walk. What it sounds like with what we had here was, yes, she did want to walk, but also the best chance that she knew that she would be raised and taught and could fight and defend herself and do all this kind of stuff is her being dropped off at the academy as soon as she could. So that's kind of, like, yes, she also just doesn't like any of the other damn peoples for not fighting. Like, there was definitely some discriminatory conversations that she has with Rose about them and derogatory ways of describing them and using derogatory words. I think with this we can see that this is someone who's known that she was 20 when she had Rose. Maybe is someone who thought she was doing the right thing. And Dimitri tries to comfort her after this, and she tells Dimitri to take Rose's deal, and she goes to break up with Mason. And listen, I don't think that the deal is a bad deal for Dimitri. I mean, if someone his own age. And he gets to be a father, and still be a paid guardian. It's a consensual act, and we also don't know if they're actually doing it, or if it's like, you know, collection, totally based, so we don't know what that is. And if they're both cool with it, the only reason why it's perceived as a bad thing is specifically because Rose has a huge crush on him, and he wants to be with her. I'm also watching the Testaments when I'm recording this, so, like, keep that in mind. Chapter 18, pages 238 to 258. Mason, Eddie, and Mia have left to go to Spokane. They compel the guards to forget them and let them go. Christian and Rose go after them. Christian does have to go with her because he could not compel the guardian, so Rose just, like, you know, did it the old-fashioned way for them to leave, and caught up with them. Now they are in Spokane, Washington. What? Yeah, they're in Spokane, Washington, and they find them pretty easily, and they're pretty dejected, being like, we didn't find anything. And now they're like, let's go, like, explore this suburb. Like, we can show you that there was nothing there. And if there was nothing there, what's the problem going and looking? So they're going to go look. And Rose is looking around, and she's big brains, big brain. No, we know she's smooth-brained a bit. Okay, this is like one wrinkle in her brain. She sees a list of letters going down. She's like, something is off with this letter. Like, with these, like, with this. Something's weird. That's strange. That's suspicious. We need to leave. Like now. They go outside to get kidnapped. What did she realize? Oh, she realized that from smallest to largest is, because there's also, I believe, X's next to the families that they hit. What do I mean? Oh, well, each letter is a first initial from a royal family. Going smallest to largest. So we have D, B, C, O, T, D, V, L, D, S. Nope, Z, S, I. Starts with Dragomir, then Boudica, then Conta, and then, so now we know the next hit. Ozera. The only O. All the way to Ivashkov. So, listen, Adrian's family would be fine. He's at the end of the list. But Ozera, it's almost as if they have an Ozera. It's almost as if they have an Ozera with them. And they just got kidnapped. Chapter 19, they get took to a home. Warriors on one side, Dampios on another side. They say all Dampios will not make it through this, but only one more warrior, those are two, Mia and Christian, Ozera, will make it if one of the warriors chooses to become awakened, Ton Shokoi, bad vampire, by draining the blood of one of the friends, the Dampio. And basically they go without feeding until they decide to do it. Chapter 20, Adrian tries to find Rose in the dream. What do you mean find? Oh, yeah. So this is when we find out Spirit Usual confirmed. So, keeping in mind, the last conversation before this, it was 5, this is 6. He has only had 6 conversations with her, none of which mentioned her age. He really should. It makes me actually upset that he never asked her. Because in later books, we explicitly know that he would never go for someone who's under 18. If he knew that she was under 18. I'm just going to say that. I'm just going to say in Golden Lily, so book 2 of the Bloodline series, a spin-off, he actively says he would not go for anyone who was under the age of 18 if he knew that they were under the age of 18. That would not happen. That would not happen. And so now you have him, the flirting with her, and I understand he's drunk. It doesn't make it better. And then what Dimitri does is even worse. Spoiled Golden Lilies. I spoiled it. Golden Lilies is a beautiful book. I actually really like that book so much. Yeah, chapter 21. This is when Rose realizes that she can actually get the vampire, she can actually get the Mawari to use their magic and get them out of there. She's like, oh, we never thought about, like, using Mawari magic actually as, what was the whole thing with the defensive magic? And I thought, yes, you did. You were saying, oh, so in the other book, you tried to use defensive magic to get you out of the situation. But anyways, you know what? I don't know what they were thinking. Christian picks up with a plan, pretends to say he will awaken, but uses fire magic, gets him out of there. Shigoris, there's actually 2 of them, I forgot to say their names, Isaiah and Elena. So basically, here's what happens. Turns out they didn't leave and they were inside the home. Rose kind of distracts them as everyone ran out a door. Now, so everyone's safe besides Rose. Mason is still inside. That's just kind of what's happening here. And basically, Mason doesn't want to leave Rose. Mason comes out of the ray of the sun and immediately is killed. Rose is in a state of shock. We go to the next chapter. Mia suffocates with water. She uses her magic water powers that Rose said that wouldn't be helpful. I got to Shigori. She uses them. Rose dispatches of the 2 Shigori, and she wants to protect Mason's body. And Mia's trying to be like, you can't, like, we need to leave. There could be more. Eventually Guardians come, and Dimitri eventually gets her away from the body. Mia tries to comfort her with a blanket on the plane ride back. In this book, I would say Mia really gets a character arc of it being like, okay, she was a mean girl, but she now is an empathetic person. Right? A very traumatic thing happened to her that should not have happened, but they were dumb, and they shouldn't have left. And then they did. And it just proves to Rose and what she was saying like, none of us are ready. Proving to the novices that, no, they weren't ready. The mom is on the plane, and she basically takes the spot of Mia because she wants to be with her mom. And her mom does comfort her, and they don't speak about it again in the book, but in this book in particular. But I think that's very beautiful. Of being like, I would be actually really upset if it was Dimitri instead of her mother that was there, that was comforting her through this. Now, he did get her off of him and, able to leave, but having it be like an intentional, at this point we see the mother-daughter wound. I've literally been calling her mother, sometimes Rose daughter, sometimes, right? And I like to see that in this book, they are, the mom is trying to actually be a mother in it. Like she's trying. Is she doing good? I'll leave that up to you. Chapter 23, this is the final chapter. We are over an hour into this, but it's going to be one more thing. So, final chapter. There is the Malia mark ceremony this week. What happens when you kill Ishiguro is you get a mark. Now, other than heroes, the Guardians are very kind and nice to her in this, and she realizes that it's not a thing that she wants. This is not a good thing to have to do it, and she actually realizes the severity of it. And they don't treat her like a child. And this is the only time that I'm okay with that, is because they realize that she did an adult thing that she should never have had to do, and she did it. And even though I say they would kind of treat her like not like a child, I mean that in the sense of everyone is at this point being like, well, we all have the mark, right? We all understand what the severity of what it was. We understand, and we understand you. And it was very horrible. And she feels seen. So in that sense, I'm saying they're not being like, and listen here, you can, and it's not like a teaching moment, it's not a lecture moment, it is, I understand you, and now you understand me. Wow, it's gonna sound out. It's late. Anyways, and we finally find out what this pendant is. I don't really know how to pronounce this, I'm sorry, I'm going to mispronounce it. So she has an Azari, and what we learn, the implication is, this is a pendant that is from her dad. We don't know if her dad gave it to the mom to give to her, or if the dad gave it to her mom. And Rose really has an understanding of it being like, oh, she just didn't want me to have a child at 20. Rose is dealing with a lot of survivor's guilt. We learn that Lisa almost decided to use spirit magic to find them, and she does confess that she's like, give me like a few more days, I would have done it. I would have found you. But it didn't even happen. The initial suggestion that she did by Adrian, who I will also say could not have known the severity of how bad and why she needed it to go on. I'm literally defending Adrian this one so much. Anyways, but Rose is like, well, I mean, like, if Adrian doesn't need to medicate, and Lisa's like, he medicates, he's never sober. The only times he's kind of not is when he's asleep. So yeah, it makes sense that he can do things when he's asleep, in his dreams. Because the only time he's not medicating himself. And she's like, she is going to learn more about spirit magic, but she is not going to put herself in danger. Rose thinks, well, Lisa had anger issues because of spirit. She just has anger issues. She doesn't think that they're like connected. Adrian's going to stay at the academy for the time being because they all want to learn more about spirit, and we have a second spirit user confirmed. I will mention, during the scene with Dimitri and they're all in the room, I was going to mention this, he spoke very weirdly. He was speaking in a way that no one could understand. Like, it was English, and they knew what the English words he was saying, but they didn't understand how that sentence was formed, what does it mean, and Adrian did say sometimes that does happen, right? So we do know that Adrian has very negative side effects, to the point in which, instead of seeking professional help, he just does it on his own, and even then, his problems is not Lisa's. So basically what we're seeing is two different people handling the magic two separate ways. However, those two separate ways of how it's affecting them are two very different ways. Lisa is not the same mental health crisis as Adrian's mental health crisis. Why I say he is in one, maybe not actively at this moment, is because he is never sober. His mind will not really allow him to be. So their minds are both not good. Lisa is adamant that she will make sure to prioritize her mental health, which I think is a very beautiful part of the story, which is why I think it's like I want to, do these dives and recaps of it being like, this is a beautiful story. In book one, it's very dark, but we have Lisa, who, yes, suffers through mental health issues and multiple crises. She actively seeks help and does her best to make sure that she follows what she believes to be her passion in life, but make sure that does not hurt her and hurt her mind. So I think that is beautiful. And if you're like, well, what about Adrian with him? We're not there yet. We are not there yet. So we have a beautiful scene with the mom again, with an Azari. Her realizing, talking to her mom about it, she's like, oh, okay, this is probably from her dad. And then the survival skill, Lisa, anger issues. Lastly, we end with Dimitri telling us that he turned down Tasha because he knew Tasha would be able to give him an escape or similar feeling, and he could pretend with her. But he didn't. He didn't want to do that, and he realized when. That's the end of Frostbite.